is I want to be able to introduce to you a gentleman that I just mentioned his name a couple times before, Gene Veno. He is from APIA. APIA is our friend, and they are trying to change the world with legislation, not just only against public justice, but how they do that against the homeowner. Hi, Gene. This is Mark.
Hi, Mark, and again, thank you for those kind remarks. I really appreciate that. I've watched your program many times and online, and the information you put out in your book has been very helpful to the policyholders, those individuals that we represent. The American Association of Public Insurance Adjusters, as you know, is an organization that has its main office in Washington, D.C., and the mission of our organization is to provide a voice for public adjusters and to also serve as an advocate for the public adjusters so that they can practice and work in the environment that their license allows them to do, and more importantly, to represent the most important aspect of the insurance policy, the policy holder, that homeowner, the business owner who needs support. Because as we've read and heard from many different other speakers in the past, the homeowner really never understands their policy until an event occurs. And when that event occurs, that's when we try to come in and assist them with all the aspects that is needed to give them an opportunity to defend themselves. And I thank you for having me on the program here today.
I'm so glad to have you. But what we need to tell all the people that are watching right now, that you have a great book coming out. And it's all about safety.
Thank you, Mark, for allowing me to be on the program to talk about this new manual. We're very proud of the manual. And just a little history, and I'm going to show a copy of it here to your viewing audience. This safety in the field for adjusters was commissioned by our chairman, Steve McCaffrey, chairman of the board of the American Association of Public Insurance Adjusters, and our board members, as a result of my coming from a meeting recently at the Florida conference of the windstorm members. I had heard a man speak, and it was a chilling story of a sad situation where he lost his daughter of 26 years old, a beautiful young woman who was working in the field as an adjuster for an insurance carrier. And it was during the time of the catastrophic events that were hitting the Gulf Coast area. And she said on a late Friday afternoon, I'll take this claim and I'll go out and I'll do what I can. But that lady never did return home. And I had heard this story, and I confronted the speaker and said, I wanted to know more. I was just taken by the situation and how this young woman went on into the field and would never return to her family. And I had the honor of meeting her dad, Jeff Freshley, who said to me, Gene, he said, we have a foundation, but after 6 years of working the foundation, as you know, the issue is very hard to keep alive in the minds of those that were really impacted by this. And I asked around, was there such a manual that when a public adjuster or a public adjuster company sends their employees out, or even an insurance adjuster company where they send their insurance agents out, do they have a manual? And we couldn't find one. We did see some safety tips for firefighters, and we did see some for realty agents, but I couldn't find one specific. And so this book here, and with the quote that I must read from Jeff Frellich, said, if this safety manual was available for adjusters during time of Katie's work, she just might be with us today. And I want you to know, Mark, this book is dedicated to the Katie Foundation. It's on our website. All profits of this book for $20 goes directly to her foundation, because we want to keep her message alive. We want to keep her spirit alive, and we also want to send the message to those agents, those public adjusters of all levels of work. Be it in the industry, be it as an independent, be it a public adjuster, you need to be aware of when you're going into safe and unsafe environments, and that was the whole purpose of the book. And it's going to be starting to hit the markets within the next month, but this is a first viewing of it. and we're very honored to be able to be on this show to talk about it today.
First, where will they be able to find it?
Well, they can go right to the American Association of Public Insurance Adjusters, our homepage, our website. That's www.aapia.org. And on our website, there is an excerpt of the book. And also what you can do is you could order the book directly online, and all shipping and handling costs are incurred by the one price of $19.95. And we've been getting some great results. Also, I want to mention,
give me some of the things that are in the book that they need to be concerned about.
Well, you know, so many different things that we have come across when we were writing this book and this manual. And I've come up with some safety tips that are in here as well. And there's also in the book, there's an app. If you wanted to go and just select that app, there is a video, a 5-minute video that's appearing in about 7 states right now on the value of a public adjuster. That's the first thing that I want to mention to you, because it also explains to the public adjuster their role in being safe within the environment and also advocating for the homeowner. But some of the things that we focus on in the risk factors, for example, slips, trips, and falls. When you go, we have a PowerPoint that I'll be giving at a conference this coming month, that going into buildings that aren't stable, there are a lot of injuries and accidents that occur each year by just not knowing the environment that you're about to enter. Unanticipated sources of falls during home inspections. You know, sometimes we take for granted we're rushing to the scene of a fire, and we realize that right after the fire and the first responders have left, you want to go in there and start to do your assessments. Well, you have to be very careful with that. So post-fire safety tips, so many involvement. We had a case from an adjuster last year in New Jersey. They went into a toxic environment site, and they didn't have their NOS mask on, and they were overcome with smoke and toxic chemicals. So you have to be aware of having the right equipment when you go into the field. So carbon monoxide, mold exposure. There's just so much that we have in here that it continues on that to know. We recently gave one out as a gift at the Windstorm Conference, and when, as a public adjuster, you want to get up there and check out the roof if there was roof damage, or the siding if there was hail damage. So making sure you have the proper equipment. Sounds like common sense, Mark, but sometimes you need to see it in print and to understand. We had a case where the recent storm, Lee, occurred when the heavy rains took these large oak trees up, and watched in Harrisburg here where these trees were just coming right down on cars. And as an adjuster, you know, you want to be on the scene, you want to help the homeowners, but you have to know when the time is right to be doing that. Water, storm damage, working in extreme heat. Also, we even have a section in here about when Katrina hit. We have actual videos of people going in to their homes, and there was different types of animals and alligators and in areas that you're not sure of. Be careful. And that's the drill that we offer. And then, of course, I have 16 tips that I wrote within the book that I feel is very important. And I'll just give you a couple of them. I won't read them all. But, you know the environment before you step onto any scene or property you're investigating. That makes sense, doesn't it, Mark? I mean, know your environment. If you're rushing to a fire scene, know the environment. Know how serious the care of what is taking place there, so your agents are being very protective. Have maps of the area.
And there's a lot of people, Gene,
they don't know
people that don't know that when you go into a fire, that there's sulfuric acid gases in there, and that if it was built between 48 and 78, they've got lead gases in there too as well.
Right, and I mean,
but I believe that as public adjusters, we need to come together and fighting the legislation that's happening all across the country and unite. And the best way to do that is a lot of times with our pocketbook. And I believe they can also join your membership, and a good portion, I believe, of the funds that go to your association going to fight things in court, and which are extremely expensive. Am I correct?
Mark, Absolutely, Mark. I just had a call from a gentleman in North Carolina, and he went onto our website and said there is so much information there. We post legislation on a timely basis by every state of all the 44 states with their license, and now soon to be 45 in Virginia. The Commonwealth of Virginia on January 1st of 2013 will be the next licensed state. Hopefully Alabama will be the 46th, and there's only 4 remaining. So yes, we monitor legislation on a day-to-day basis for our members. We try to give, for those that are, I call them potential members, information so that they can continue to work in an open and free market environment. And we can't do it all without support of the many members we do have, and we want to thank them for their support, because without their support, I mean, APIA could not exist. The importance of belonging and working together is so vital today. In this industry, I was in Texas recently, and I had heard there are 90,000 insurance adjusters, and there are 792 public adjusters. I mean, in a large state like Texas, I mean, what does that tell you? Policyholders need assistance. Recently, there were some issues in Georgia where legislation was advanced that would have pretty much done away with the practice of public adjusting. And we spent a lot of dollars working with our lobby firm, of which we have in multiple states, different firms, and we were very successful in seeing that language not considered in this legislative session. Now, one of the concerns I had, and there was this one sharp public adjuster that I had met in Georgia, she said, why doesn't other public adjusters get involved? And that's a question that, Mark, you probably can answer. You know, why don't they get involved when a lot of other individual groups are doing their best to speak on their behalf?
Well, we found out that public adjusters that weren't part of our association, because we set a tone of communication. And the problem is that most public adjusters want to just kind of keep it to themselves, because
Right.
they're afraid that somebody else is going to go down the street and open up an office. And it's a lot harder than that, but most people think. But I think once they realize just how hard the insurance companies are starting to come after them, and it's not just legislation, you know, it's the daily stupid communication from the supervisors that they're trying to keep the money from the homeowner, so which affects their pockets. I think that's the whole thing. They have to realize that it's not just about legislation, it's also about the money that's going to be taken out of your pocket as a public adjuster. So you should be investing in your future through APIA.
Well, Mark, I appreciate that. And well, I used to represent many different types of associations. I did a lot of their advocacy for them, as I do now exclusively for the American Association of Public Insurance Adjusters. And whenever a new member would come into the profession, be it whatever that industry was, I always encouraged the most senior professional to send them a note, or even a gift basket, or just stop in their office and introduce yourselves, offering how you could help them. One of the things we did with new members was to give them a support system. I have in our association, whenever a new member comes in, I give them a support public adjuster to assist them on questions. I have many out on the West Coast that have just joined recently and aren't familiar with all the laws, rules, and regulations, and I'll get, and it's open to all of our members at any time, any questions they have, send it to us. We want to help you become a better advocate, a better spokesperson, a better examiner for the claims for your clients. And I think that's one of the things that organizations bring together, associations bring together. I mean, common sense is you associate with those that are doing good. And the idea is when you receive good information, your duty is to give back to others. And that's so important in this industry, as in any industry, not just in the American Association of Public Insurance Adjusters, but all professionals. It's about giving back.
Thank you for being on the show, Gene, and we'll hope to see you in the future.
Well, thank you again, Mark, and I want to congratulate you on your first launch of Adjuster TV. I'm going to watch you continue to advocate, and I saw that intro there. That was a great stay in innovation, and you're very well liked by the industry that you represent. Have a great day.